into the soul, into the oracle of the soul, the most accurate astrological information I have ever found that reveals purpose. It reveals wealth. It reveals so many things in very short amount of time. And so over the next 5 days, my beautiful friends from all over the world, I would like to unveil to you how you hold in your hands a map so powerful that you can begin to identify core things in your life, okay, such as wealth. What are my peak abilities around attracting and manifesting wealth? What about love? What about health? How to use the astrological chart as a tool for diagnosing, for pinpointing and revealing deep-seated health issues. Okay, I've been able to use that for myself. I had, what would you put into your magic Aladdin lamp to create anything? Okay. What would you create? What would you bring forth?
This fascination with freedom in your hands. Now you call me, you call me, you call me, you call me. This introduction to the peacefulness of your stance. Now you call me, you call me, you call me, you call me. Nothing is true. Like weeds on the wind, spiderwebs breaking out of innocence. A fascination with the ethers, how they collide. But now they're shaking, they're shaking, they're shaking, they're shaking. I can't be torn between darkness and the light. 'Cause I'm breaking, I'm breaking, I'm breaking, I'm breaking. No good is true. Like weeds on the wind, and spiderwebs breaking out of innocence. This fascination with freedom in your head. You call me, you call me, you call me, you call me. This introduction to the peacefulness of your stance. Now you call me, you call me, you call me, you call me. Nothing is true. Like weeds on the wind, and spiderwebs breaking out of innocence. No good is true. Like weeds on the wind, and spiderwebs breaking out I love innocence. No to be.
The divine one. Empowered. What is your wish? Next 5 days.
Beats on the wind. It's my
What is it you wish to bring forth? What is your wish? We could unlock the oracle of your own soul. You could use this chart to be a gateway to know more about you, so you know where to go and you know how to get there. Welcome, my beautiful friend. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Lotus Dawn. This is Blossom with Lotus. I know we have friends joining us from all over the world. Would you like to just tune into that gift that you created here over the last several minutes? And if you feel called to, maybe write down 1 or 2 words for yourself that came through from that experience of seeing empowered, embodied, divine feminine energy with the energy of fire and the energy of water, and that both are so strongly activated right now as we move into the new moon, which occurs tomorrow, Tuesday, May 7th at 8:21 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so we're in the gateway of divine, greatest fertility for creation. And it's the most powerful time of the moon to set your intention. And so this 5-day challenge is both to bring answers to questions and to illuminate wealth and health and love and how the chart can show you this. And it's also an opportunity for us to collectively come together and hold space for that vision you have, whatever it is. So at the end of this 5 days, you're going to go, you know what? I learned a lot more than just about astrology. I was actually able to set an intention and be empowered to create it. And how cool is that, right? How powerful is that? So welcome everyone to this 5-day astrological oracle session where we're going to reveal both the mechanics of the chart. So you will know after this class how to begin reading your own chart and also answer all your questions. This is amazing. This is an amazing opportunity. I'm so glad you're here. So I don't know if you've ever seen The Golden Compass before. It's a really amazing movie about a little girl who comes across a compass. It's called the Golden Compass. And when she would spin this compass, it would spin and it would tell her the answer. So she'd be in a situation, maybe she'd be in danger. And she'd look at her compass and all the wheels and all the gears would spin. They would spin and they would land on an image. And that image would tell her if it was safe or if she needed to be careful or if things were to her benefit or if they were a challenge. And the astrological chart, when based on the actual sky, is just as powerful of a tool as this golden compass. Okay, when you know the symbols, when you know the gears of the clock, astrology is just the composition of 3 or 4 different gears that spun together like a Rubik's Cube, create a different and unique pattern. Once you know the layout of those gears, you can find out the answer to any question here. Okay, and so I want to empower you with that information. Good old, this is such a great quote. Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. And this is from JP Morgan, right? So he might know a couple of things about that. So for thousands of years, astrology has been utilized by the rich, the wealthy, the leaders, the royalty, the kings and the queens. And in fact, it's also been used by doctors. I don't know if you knew this, but the ancient medical schools required every single doctor to study astrology. Otherwise, they couldn't get their doctoral degree. They couldn't graduate. Why? Why was this? Well, because they recognized that every planet and every constellation had a vibrational impact on the body. And so by knowing what sign a planet was in a birth chart, one could diagnose and treat that person because the astrological chart reveals our karma that we come in with as souls. Okay. And so Sri Yukteswar, who is the teacher of Paramahansa Yogananda, actually says that at the moment we're born, whatever constellational pattern we're born in, our chart is the blueprint of our karma from this life and from all others. And so by knowing our astrological chart from birth, we are able to open the gateway to know what is our karma? What did we come in with? What are our strengths? What are our challenges? What are the things that we can heal? And what are the things that might be more challenging? I think it's all healable. If you're here, whatever you're dealing with, I know it is healable. I have dealt with so much adversity and so many challenges in my life. It is a wonder that I'm even here at all. And the fact that I am, as many healers and guides that I've worked with, it always comes back to my chart and it just blows my mind every time. I think I've figured it out. And then the chart says, hey, look at this. And it goes deeper. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how did I miss that? But there are times where timing is at work, right? Sometimes takes 20 years of looking at your chart to finally get the release, to have the cognition, to have that moment of freedom. And I wish that for all of you. And I know it's possible. And I hope that in this next 5 days that you all are going to have that moment. You all are going to have that flip of the switch where you're like, gosh, why didn't I see that sooner? You know, why did it take so long? But damn it, I'm so glad it's happening now. I'm so glad it's happening now. Okay. So one of the reasons you're probably here is that I posted a video on YouTube called Venus, the billionaire planet moves into Aries. And what? Venus, the billionaire planet? What do you mean, Lotus? Well, Venus is the divine feminine energy. And I can't think of anything more profoundly fertile and abundant than the divine feminine around the ability that we have to create life, right? To gestate a little being in our womb and give birth. There is nothing more abundant, bountiful, and fertile than the divine feminine energy. And so that is why Venus, the goddess of love, the goddess of the divine feminine, is the billionaire planet. She represents our greatest wealth potential. And right now, she is conjunct the sun. She is being illuminated by the solar forces in the constellation of Aries. What does that mean? Well, Aries is fire, and that's why I shared that video of the feminine dancing, right? The divine goddess with fire. And so as divine feminine energies, those that hold that energy, we are being asked to step into our leadership. And that as we step into that leadership, we are being blessed with abundance. We are being blessed with wealth. And so courage and fortune favors the brave right now. So fortune favors the brave. If there is an idea, if there is a spark, okay, fire, if there is a spark of an idea, that is Aries. In your heart, in your mind, there's like, oh, there's something I should do right now. You might be feeling that Venus and Aries energy, the billionaire planet, in the energy of the divine feminine, wanting to take action. Okay. And that is what inspired me to get out here and lead this 5-day challenge to look at everyone's charts right now, to show you, where do you have Venus and Aries? Where do you have the billionaire planet in your chart, right? Is it in the house of career? Is it in the house of wealth? Is it in the house of relationships or love? Let's check it out, right? That's what we're going to do over the next several days. Aries is powerful energy, okay? The ruling planet is Mars. It's all about action. It's related to the Muladhara chakra. It is actually, let me just move this down. April 20th through May 13th, approximately, is actually when Aries is. And that may be different than what you're used to. So we're going to go over and explain why the dates for Aries are different than what mainstream astrology says. And I'm also going to share a little bit about who I am and why you might want to stick around and listen to me over the next several days. And so if you're here and you're a divine and you carry divine feminine energy, that would mark everyone. So if man, woman, You name it. If you are here, you carry divine feminine energy. And so Venus, the billionaire planet, is calling us to take action, inspired action. It's interesting though, because Venus is feminine and it's in a sign ruled by Mars. And so it's a little bit out of our comfort zone, let's say. It's a little bit like the feminine and masculine are sitting down at a table having a very big conversation about how to utilize their energies, because it's a bit of a polarity. It's a bit of a yoga, because Venus is much more comfortable in Taurus, which is earth, which is grounding, which is this sort of earthy vibration. Okay. And so in Aries, Venus is like, well, this is hot. This is fiery. Like, whoa. So there might be also a sense of like, I don't know if I want to get that close to the fire. I don't know if I want to take that kind of action. This is different. And so there could be a bit of a conversation happening between the divine feminine essence in us and the divine masculine essence. There could be a bit of a yin yang, right? Where we're like, oh, yes, but I don't know. And it's really interesting because Mars, the planet that rules Aries, is in Pisces right now, which is water and is very divine feminine. It's very intuitive. It's very like flow. Okay. So we kind of have this reversal of the divine feminine energy being in fire and the divine masculine energy being in water. And so it's been interesting because as I've gone out into the world, I've been seeing things that match this. Like just today, I was down by the creek near my house, and there was about 8 young people dressed in water gear, so dry suits and a bright red hat on their heads. And they're wading up the water. And I'm like, this is too much. And I said, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're here, we're learning about creek safety and, how to rescue people if they get, stuck in the water, and they're wearing their dry suits, going through the water up the creek, trying to battle those elements. So we have water, but we also have action energy and red hat. So we have both water and Aries energy, fire and water together in their activity. And so what I've noticed is these astrological charts show us, reflect by what we see around us, what is happening in the stars. It's very interesting. I also see a lot of men picking up instruments and starting to play music and starting to kind of get into their intuitive self. And I see a lot of women stepping up into leadership and going out into the world. And so we're in a little bit of a role reversal energetically right now, where women are being benefited and honored with money, with abundance, with blessings as they step up into their leadership, as they choose to have courage. They are being rewarded. Wow. Well, that's different. And for men, or for the masculine energy, it is being rewarded as it sits down with an instrument, as it creates art, as it dances, as it sings, as it gets into the divine feminine flow. Okay. Of course, we have both sides in our body. We both have feminine and masculine. And so it'll be very interesting as we go forwards to see how this is playing out for all of you in each of your lives. So just in case you had forgotten today, it's your light that lights the world. Okay. And so each of us hold a divine spark. And each of our sparks then create the light that we see out there in the world. And so I want to invite all of your beautiful sparks to shine bright, to know that you're such a huge component of this planet, that your beingness, that your energy, that your participation, that your presence is such a integral component of life on earth. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing right now is important. It is valuable. It has meaning. And so I'm so honored that you're all here with me tonight, because we are collectively co-creating something so powerful. I don't know if it's ever been done before, which is in line with Venus and Aries energy. Okay. Divine feminine action, leadership, and courage, as well as tapping into our intuition and our soul level guidance. Right. So So what is a chart? Why is it important? Why might we want to learn about an astrological chart? And I love this quote. I keep coming back to it again and again. If I ever get off track or confused or lost, I go, oh my God, a child is born on that day and at that hour when the celestial rays are in mathematical harmony with his or her own individual karma. So that's what we're going to be unlocking over the next 5 days, is this magical configuration of your soul information. That's why I don't really consider myself an astrologer. I actually consider more of myself to be a soul midwife, that I literally walk hand in hand with you to open the doorway to the map, to the oracle of your soul print, of your soul knowledge, so that you can know yourself better, so that you can be more in tune with your path, with your purpose, with all those idiosyncrasies that make up who you are. And again, it just is so spot on and accurate that I just have to keep doing this for fun, just to keep testing it, because it keeps showing up amazingly and so accurately. And I hope and I pray that we're all going to leave this group looking happy and lit up and excited and fulfilled, as most of the end of my sessions end this way. Just joy, just pure joy, because we're connecting into the soul print. And there's nothing more beautiful than our soul. Truly, it is exquisite, each of you. Your divine soul is just absolutely exquisite. Okay. So I'm going to share a quick video, and Minda, this may remind you of an event where we met many years ago. And in it, you're going to just see me in action, leading some energy work in a public setting. So you can just kind of see me in the real world. Since we're in these boxes, it's a good way for you to get to know me a little bit better. And also hear some real world testimonials of people who have worked with me, just to confirm that you are on the right track, you're in the right place, and that you may want to keep going to learn the amazing truths that are going to come through tonight. So sit back, relax. This will be about 3 minutes, and we'll go from there.
I draw people together in circles, like this. Stretching arms out by your friend, feeling that connection.
I saw her do the single most incredible thing I've ever seen done.
Open up your palms.
She did the most amazing blessing
Put your hand on the back of your friend.
that was so appropriate for the world and so empowering and so appreciated. This woman empowers everything she touches.
She's found something inside of herself.
And I do believe if she was focused on you and wanted you to heal,
It will give you the opportunity to access places and spaces, locations and destinations that you've never been to before.
she's got power and knowledge and the ability to implement her knowledge. I want you to pay attention to her. It's something special.
The energy went through us all.
Lotus is the one you really want to connect with.
This makes me feel like so grounded, so calm and peaceful. Something inside of me, I feel change. I never felt that way before.
Oh my God, she actually resembles the beauty of the lotus itself.
You gave me a permission to connect with my soul.
How many of you have been touched by her presence at this event?
And I have a gift to share with you. So come, and I will be so excited to share all that I've learned so that I can hold your hand and bring you with me.
So this gift, right, that I'm saying that I'm going to share with you is the gift of you. And it is one of the coolest job titles ever, because I get to share the gift of who you are at a soul level every day, every time I work with a client. And it's the most exquisite gift in the planet to get to hold up the mirror of your birth chart. I mean, I'm so honored. I really get this. I really get that the moment you were born, that magical moment, the time you were born, is this sacred cradle of your map. And it gives the information that can unlock so many things that can keep us bound. And I'm so excited to empower you with the skill and the ability to begin to use your own map for yourself. I don't think that anyone should own this map, right? This is your map. And so I want to give as much of the knowledge that I have to you. And I have quite a bit, as I'll share with you in a moment. This is Christine. She's one of my very first clients back in 2022. And she came to my last master class, and she's just been an amazing support. And I love this testimonial because she says she lit a fire in me. Okay. And that stuck with me because if I could light that fire in you of excitement towards knowing yourself and going towards the path and purpose that you are, then I'm complete. I'm happy because that's what I'm here to do. And so I pray that this course can help to light a fire of excitement within you around your purpose, around where you're headed. So a little bit about me. So my mama is pretty amazing. She's a pretty amazing woman. She was a Kundalini yogi in the 60s and 70s. She practiced Kundalini yoga 7 days a week for 10 years straight, waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning to do sadhana, to chant the name of God, to do these crazy kriyas that if you've ever done Kundalini yoga, you're like, oh my God, like how does anyone do this every single day? Like it's full on. And she prayed to be able to teach me everything that she knew. And so she learned in the 1970s about something pretty revolutionary in astrology. She learned that mainstream astrology was based on where the stars were 2000 years ago, and that everyone was following an outdated system that didn't line up with the actual sky. So everyone was walking around thinking their sun sign was in, Aquarius, when because of something called precession, it's moved back about a sign. And so everyone in Western astrology is about a sign ahead of where their true astrological sign would be. And so I grew up hearing this and learning about it and watching my mom tell people all about it. Back then, y'all, people were not ready for this. So I watched my beautiful mama get shut down and shut down and shut down about this truth, right? She's so passionate about telling the truth to people. And it kind of built this really strong desire and passion to bring you all the truth. So, like, you know what? She's right. Don't we want to follow an astrology system that's based on the actual sky? Don't we want to know what actual constellational sign our planets are in when we're born? Like, doesn't that feel more congruent and more aligned and have more integrity, really, if we're doing astrology, which is the study of the stars? And so I really have to thank my mom for being here today to share this with you all. Now, I haven't always been so bright and light and lit up. In fact, I was pretty depressed as a teenager. I grew up with a father who had an alcohol issue, and my mom had to kick him out when I was about 3 years old. And so I remember them fighting in the house, just constant trauma, constant drama. And so I turned to punk rock. I turned to punk rock and going to punk shows and drinking alcohol myself and just kind of putting my middle finger up to the man and just being totally rebellious against anything spiritual that my mom had to teach me for a very long time. And I tried to fit into society. I tried to follow what everyone else was doing, right? This is me at age, I don't know, like 5 or 6. And many years later, around age 13, I was just depressed. I was so lost. I'd put on that dark eyeliner to just try and fit in and just try and hide my pain in hardness, right? In protection. I had huge armor built around me. And so I ended up going to college. I got a degree in psychology. And I still remember the first day, or the day I got my degree. I was totally hungover. I was completely hungover. My whole family came to watch me graduate, and I'm just, you can kind of see it in my eyes. I'm just like, whoa, like holding on by a thread, trying to do what everyone told me was the thing to do, right? Get a degree, go to college. But inside, I was so lost. I was so, so, so lost. And so here I am I think I was on the phone, just depressed, miserable. I ended up getting a nanny job after I graduated college. I didn't know what I was doing. I had all this unresolved pain. Okay. And so I remember sitting at that bus stop. It was a hot day in California in San Jose, and my beautiful curly hair had gone like straight. Like there was no life in it. And I was so depressed. I felt like I was at rock bottom. I felt like I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I am. I'm so lost. I'm so confused. And I'm sitting there wanting my life to be different, just deeply wanting my life to be different. And all of a sudden, God heard me. And I had this light bulb moment. And I said, Lotus, mom taught you astrology. Because at the time I was living kind of far away from her, just rejecting her, rejecting everything she had to teach me because I didn't, I was traumatized from my childhood. So I had this light bulb moment. Lotus, astrology. Go home and look up your life purpose. And so I got home, I typed into Google, how do I find purpose through astrology? Like, how do I find my life purpose through astrology? And Google is so awesome, man. If you have the right question at the right moment, dude, the perfect answer will sometimes come through. And what do you know? I did. I discovered something. I discovered something called the ascending and descending node in an astrological chart. If I hadn't grown up doing astrology charts, this would have made no sense to me. But since I'd been taught from about age 10 how to do astrology charts, I quickly looked up what this meant. And so the North Node, or this symbol, relates to something they call our destiny. They call it our destiny point. And so there's two of them. There's the ascending node and the descending node, and they're points in the middle of the Earth's orbit, the sun and the Earth and the moon. So there's these 2 points between those orbits, and you can calculate what yours are. In fact, we're going to go over that in this 5-day challenge for everyone, what your North Node and what is your South Node and what do they represent? Well, the North Node is our biggest lesson. It can often mean we're not doing it. Okay. It can often mean we struggle to do the North Node. We struggle to do the one that leads to our purpose because it's like the weakest muscle. It's new to us. It's this new path. And then the descending node or South Node is our karmic point, and it relates to what we come in with that we're super good at. We're super good at it, but guess what? If we follow that, we will be so bored and so miserable. We'll be like I was sitting at that bus stop with no curl in my hair. That's what the South Node, the descending node, brings, is lack of purpose. It brings lack of direction. It's too comfortable. It's too static. And so what I found by looking up what my North Node was and what my South Node was that I was living in my past. I was doing everything related to the skills I came in with that I was really good at, but I was doing nothing related to what I needed to grow towards. Nothing. And so in that moment of learning this, I made a decision. I said, that is it, period. I am done following the comfortable path. I have to grow. And I know it was terrifying, to be honest with you. It was absolutely terrifying. But I made a decision to do it. And so some of the things that I found, or the suggestions I found to do, were that I needed to start my own hobbies because my past self was all about relationship. And this is very common for women, right? So my past self focus was all about putting all my energy into a relationship. So I was doing that. I was living with my ex-boyfriend at the time. I was focused on our relationship. That was my main purpose. Okay. Whereas what my ascending North Node was independence. It was Aries. It was all about courage and leadership and change and being independent and being an individual. And I was doing the exact opposite. And so I made a decision that day to do everything it recommended. Get hobbies. I bought a car. And within weeks, I got a phone call to have a new job. I moved to a new location near the ocean. I bought a new car. I left my relationship and I started a completely brand new life within weeks of finding this out. And I could not believe that this little piece of astrological information, just one day sitting there and reading about it, could be that seed or that nugget that pushed me into action, that caused me to change everything. It blew my mind. And so years later, as I was figuring out my purpose and what I was here to do, I realized that I was here to teach this to others because it'd been such an empowering step in my own life. Okay. And so that's my story. And I wanted to share it with you so you could get to know me a little bit better and hear where I've come from and hear that I'm a lot like you. I've had challenges, I've hurt, I've cried, I've celebrated, and I'm really on the same path of you, which is to always come towards what I'm here for, to always align to my soul, to always be on that path of growth. No matter how challenging or scary or weird it may be, I'm committed 100%. That's why I'm here for you tonight. So I'd like to just take a moment now that I've shared about myself to maybe open up the floor to introduce everyone and hear a little bit about who you are and where you are and what you'd like to get out of this course. And this is, totally optional. Share as much as you want. We are live broadcasting on YouTube. So, whatever you feel comfortable with, it's entirely up to you. And I appreciate you playing tonight full on, because as we play full on, we are telling the universe we are serious and that we are here to take massive action towards our dreams, our goals, and our desires. So welcome everyone. If you would like to unmute and share, it's totally optional. Please turn on your camera so we can see you. Or I guess you don't have to, you can if you want. And just please share, your name, where you are in the world, and maybe what you're really hoping to learn or create, or what drew you to be here tonight. And whoever wants to go first, feel free. Get into that brave, courageous Aries energy. I know it's strong. Yes, Yolan, please, if you are on Facebook, you can direct message me your birth information, or you can message me here on direct chat. That works. I have pretty much all of your charts made. It was pretty amazing getting them all completed. And I'm excited, but I'm really excited to hear from all of you. Where are you in the world? I know many of you are new and you found me across the world on YouTube. And so I just love to meet you all and hear more about you. Yeah. Go ahead, Coach. I know you're ready. You gotta unmute. gotta get big.
Being the only gentleman here.
Very brave.
Well, I don't know. What do you want to know? I mean, I live in Florida.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm in real estate, commercial real estate.
Coach, what drew you to join us tonight? What were you inspired by?
Just to learn more, especially about the abundance portion of it, where joy, love, money, everything goes with it.
Yeah. 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 If we're on this soul path, wouldn't it be beautiful to align the wealth part? Wouldn't it be cool to bring that
Absolutely.
money aspect so that we can step more into our leadership, so that we can be even more of an inspiration to those that we serve?
Amen.
I'm really fired up about that, Coach. I've been thinking about this a long time, and about how it's time for people who are here as guides and spiritual teachers and supporters to really step up and allow that wealth energy to come in. And my hope is that this is going to unleash some powerful wealth energy for all of us over the next several weeks. So I'm glad you said that. Thank you for
I feel it. I feel it. So I know we all will.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a powerful time around that. And at the end of the week, I have a special bonus I'm going to share with you all about a powerful money abundance manifestation point coming up in May. So get excited, get your calendars ready, because it's going to be pretty powerful times. I'm just going to say that. Thank you, Coach. And thank you for being a man here, supporting all these goddesses and being a strong enough, courageous enough man to be like, I can be here and still be in my manhood, and it's all good. So I'm happy.
Taking the lead. I'm taking the lead.
That's right. That's right. All right. Anyone else want to unmute and share your name, where you are, and just what you're inspired about, what you're excited about learning over the next 5 days? It helps to break the ice. It helps to get everyone connected and tuned in. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But if you do, just raise your hand or unmute and just share with us all. Yeah. Go ahead, Minda.
Okay, my name is Min, and I'm at Lotus at one of the master class that we both took. I was happily retired. I can tell you that after working all my life. Actually, I came into this country with just a college degree and a dream. I'm at Lotus at one of the master class that we both took. I was happily retired. I can tell you that after working all my life. Actually, I came into this country. Is there a recording on this?
Yeah, go, keep going. I was like, what's happening? I think it's echoing. Sorry.
Yeah, that's an echo. But anyway, one day, I switched from being a financial counselor, financial planner, stockbroker, to going and being depressed after my daughter committed suicide. And I was mummified for about 5 years. And those days were really very dark for me. I just blamed myself. You know how you're trying to go get over grief and you go into all sorts of just hiding from everybody. I was living in depression. And then, you know, when you live under depression, you get all these aches and pains and health issues. Then I started looking for something to do, but the thought of committing suicide was always in my mind. So I went to a psychiatrist and started therapy. Well, he guided me, and I switched from being a financial person to a medical person. I took up nursing, got into that, and in my quest to look for answers to my health issues, the medical field did not have anything to offer. So I started looking into the natural field, got into all sorts of everything I could think of and tried. Then I found out a way that all my health issues were just emotional, that also triggered a lot of my allergies. So I keep studying and studying, and I became I came upon something about getting rid of allergies the natural way. And I got very deep into that. And because it really solved about 90% of my health issues. And I got into that. I opened up a wellness clinic and directed that. I operated that for over 20 years, and I saw a lot of success healing everybody else. Then I retired. But all my clients kept calling me and telling me I should be writing a book or going into coaching, showing everybody how to do that. And one day I woke up, I said, I'll do that. And that's how I got to meet you, Lotus. Was I signed up for several courses, and one of them just to learn how to get myself to teach other people to get rid of their allergies. And I'm working on that right now. So that's where I am, and that's where I want to go. I keep learning from everybody else. So
I'm really glad you're here. One of the most beautiful things about the chart is how it can be used to diagnose and treat issues in the body. Because all of the signs relate to specific parts of the body. Okay. So
yes,
when we look at a chart and there's an issue, we can go, okay, where is the issue in the body and where is that sign related to that issue? Okay. And it's been miraculously healing for so many people that I've worked with. So I'm really excited for healing practitioners to have this as a tool, okay, to speed up the process. It doesn't take so many years to identify and diagnose these chronic, deep-seated health challenges that so many of us have had to live through. And I'm so glad you're still with us, Minda. You're a beautiful
yeah, and
soul.
the way I treat people is along the energy pathways too. So
Mhm.
it's a combination of modern medicine and ancient medicine.
That's right.
And I use energy a lot. So that's why I'm always interested in whatever energy course
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah. Yeah. I do a lot of energy work too, and maybe we will do some clearing. How is everyone feeling out there? I think this would be a good time for it. So, I actually have my own healing modality that I created after many years of my health challenges that I've been through. And so, if you'd like to join me to clear some energy right now, who would like to clear a little energy as we move forward here?
Yes.
Okay. So, I don't know if you've ever heard of Korean acupressure before. I recently saw a chart and it showed me that the back of the hand, this actually relates to the head. This relates down to the neck. This is the whole spinal column. And so the hands are actually the map of our bodies in miniature. And so I didn't realize this when I created my healing method that I was literally activating every meridian in the body by rubbing the hands together. And this was sort of news to me. It just kind of happened organically. But I want to give you this energy clearing tool so that you have this over the next 5 days, so that if anything comes up as we're diving deep, you can clear this for yourself. So what we're going to do is I want you to just kind of get in tune with how you're feeling right now, and maybe just shoot a number into the chat between 0 and 10, 10 being you feel absolutely amazing and 0, you don't feel good at all. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to clear it and we're going to see where you're at after that, just so you know that something has shifted. And all of you watching at home, Geosam is out of 10. Well, you can join us anyways. You can try too and leave a number in the chat to share where you're at. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Okay, we've got some high numbers here. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so go ahead and tune into anything that is not a 10. Just tune into your body, tune into your energy field, tune into your emotional field. Where is it not a 10? In your body, and your heart, and your mind. Beautiful. Now I'm going to call on all your highest guides, all of your highest guardians, your highest possible connection to source. Minda's doing fantastic. And then we're going to rub our hands together and we're going to connect to the heart. And you're going to take a deep breath in. Whew, and a deep breath out. And there's always a lot of energy when we do these group clearings and group coming together. So whatever collective energy is in the field, we're going to clear it. Awesome. So Anna said the throat. Yeah, the throat is major, especially for women stepping into leadership, stepping out into the world. Yes, I hear you. My throat's been my big challenge too. And my chart actually was able to show this to me. So amazing. Lower back pain. So focus on your throat. Geo, focus on your lower back. Oh my God, I'm with all of these women. What in the world did I get myself into? Yeah, I hear you, brother. You're doing great. You're doing great. It's good for us to all work together. Okay, so just tune into your body. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Tune into what you're feeling. Tune into what you're noticing. Tune into the energy field. It only works to the extent that you feel what's happening in your body, that you feel what's happening within you. Feel what's coming up. Take a deep breath in. Your legs. Okay, so tune into your legs, Minda. Yep. Oh my goodness. Oh, tired out sitting in the car. Feel that. Feel that energy. Feel that energy. You might yawn. Please let those yawns come out. Don't worry. Yawns are good. They mean you're releasing. That's it. That's it. That's it. That tells me it's working. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Okay, by the power of God, by the power of source, by the power of creator of all that is. Take a deep breath in, tune into it. It is commanded that anything blocked here, anything suppressed, anything old, anything you don't need, by the power of God, it is commanded that it release and clear, that it release and clear on the core, on the genetic, on the soul level. Deep breath in. We command it to be pulled and resolved on the historical level. You can shake out your arms. God, source, universe, it is commanded. Anything and everything not yours, anything not belonging to you, to be lifted and cleared out of your source field and sent into the light, to be transmuted and to be transformed, releasing and clearing out of your auric field, out of your chakras. Creator of all that is, super conscious, it's commanded a complete unconditional love healing for your chakras, the front of your chakras, you might yawn here, the back of your chakras, you might yawn here. Deep breath in and out. Stretch and expand. And creator of all that is commanded a complete unconditional love, blessing, showering everyone with that pure, unconditional love, pure, unconditional love and light. And God's source, universe, please give each of these beautiful beings the divine spiritual gifts that they are calling in right now to serve them as they step forward on their path, as they step forward on their journey, whatever that may be, just letting all that old stuff come up and out. Coming up and out. That's it. Up and out. Oh, yeah. And just feeling more space, more peace. And we're just going to ask for diamond light protection all around all of you. That's right. Placing it around our field, around our group. Only positive energy may enter this space, this field. I'm just sending pure unconditional love and light to everyone watching. We love and appreciate you. You're welcome to join this group. The link will be below at any time. We send you pure unconditional love and light. And just tune into what it is you want to create now and draw in beautiful love and compassion and grounding and centering and peace and calm and healing. And I'm seeing rejuvenation for Minda's legs. I'm seeing peace and ease in Giosama's back. I'm seeing flow for Anna and peace around her throat space. Divine, unconditional, angelic protection for all of you. Good, and just take a nice deep breath in and out. Coming back into the present moment, feeling more grounded, more connected, just more spacious, more peace, more ease. Good job, everyone. Knowing you'll be super clear, super connected, super centered as we move forwards. Guided from within, as they say. And if you'd like to share in the chat the number of where you're at now, 0 to 10, 10 being you feel amazing, 0, I don't feel good at all. Right. And wherever you're at's perfect. Wherever you're at, fine. Okay, Anna, we've got an 8. Minda's at a 10. Awesome. Yolan's at an 8. Good, we're getting there. That's good. That's good. Thank you all. Yeah, you're welcome. Back pain. So now you're a 9. Awesome, coach. Yeah, how's your back pain? Doing better?
Yeah, actually, I feel much better.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's all energy, right? Minda knows that. It's all energy. You work at the level of the soul. You work at the level of energy, and anything and everything is clearable. And so that's been an interesting addition to doing astrology reading and bringing in the energy clearing. I tend to work with people on healing deep soul trauma that could be in some way blocking their soul purpose or mission, because I'm passionate about all of you getting to your destination. And the chart shows us, and then we can clear what's in the way. Okay. Minda, how are your legs? Are they feeling better?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's like, of course. Right. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to share a little bit about what is this astrological system that we're about to jump into for the next 5 days. Why is it so accurate? And then we're going to open the floor to questions. Okay, so I'm going to share screen. And at any point, if you have questions, just raise your hand. It's totally fine. And we're going to tap into it. Okay, so here I am after having utilized astrology to step into myself on a deeper and deeper level. It's truly an amazing feeling to have this gift, to walk around and be able to assist others with this information. It's like a miracle waiting to happen, to give people, what is your destiny point? Like, are you kidding me? You can find that out? I thought that like was a mystery or whatever. No, it's actually very definable. It's very interesting. This was a great reading I did with Carly. Carly's one of my beautiful soul friends. I liked what she said here. My reading with Lotus was such a spot-on, powerful reflection of who I am, why I'm here, my sparkles and my hurdles. When she landed on a bigger hurdle that has been a consistent challenge for many years as I build my business and express my soul's calling, she went in. Her naming of the challenge was on point, and I felt so seen in my struggle. She helped me give greater context of this aspect of my journey in a way that was very loving. And then she started flowing healing energy that came. Once the energy started flowing, I sank into a trance and received. It was so beautiful, so nourishing, and exactly what I needed. So that is the flow of our class, is that we're going to use the chart to identify, then we'll probably do some healing. We'll ask questions, we'll have answers, and it's going to be beautiful. So our purpose in life is to find, your purpose. Your purpose in life is to find your purpose, first of all, and give your whole heart and soul to it. Buddha. Okay, so even the great masters are telling us to look into our purpose, right? And to follow it. There's a reason. There's a reason. So today, what are we going to cover? Well, first of all, who am I? We went through that. And now, what is True the Stars astrology? What is the code to reveal the secrets? What are the 4 pillars? And your questions. Okay. So what are we looking at today? What is this True the Stars astrological system? Awesome. Yeah, the replay will be up. Yolan, great to meet you. Glad you could join us. So we are following the True the Stars Sidereal system. This is from the New York Post, right? Very legit, well-renowned newspaper. And it says the sidereal system is based on the current position of the stars. That's what we follow. Whereas the tropical system, which is mainstream astrology, is based on where the stars were 2,000 years ago around 0 AD. Yeah, that's right. So all of mainstream astrology is based on where the stars were 2,000 years ago, no longer accurate to the actual sky. Well, what do you mean, Lotus? What do you mean? Well, Ptolemy created the Western astrology system as we know it. And at that time, when he looked up at the sky and created this system, that is what he found. Okay. So March 21st, most of you in the Western astrological world see that as the first day of Aries. Well, that was true 2,000 years ago. But if you were to look up to the sky tonight at on March 21st, you would actually see the astrological sign of Pisces. Yeah. So tropical astrology is about 1 degree ahead of where the actual stars are in the sky. That's the basic truth of it. Now, I knew that most of my life, and that's what I followed, and I gave readings based on the sidereal system, accurate to the sky. But it wasn't until 2022 that I found out 2 shoes dropped. And I thought I didn't know there could be more. Well, I found out, let's see, that each of the constellations is a different size. So the sun and all of the planets actually take a different amount of time to move through each constellation. They're not all the same size. So Aries is very short. It's only 23 days long. It takes the sun 23 days to move through it. Whereas Pisces is about 41 days long. Virgo about between 44 and 49. And so if you look at a normal chart, it is all 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. And so it's not giving you an accurate representation of where the planets were and what signs they were in. And I said, oh my God, I have to know my accurate chart. I have to know where my actual planets are, what sign they're in, and what house they would be in. I was just like, I have to find this out. I also found out that there's a 13th sign known as Ophiuchus. And so Ophiuchus is amazing. Anyone here have heard of Ophiuchus before? No. Okay, we've got a couple ladies who've heard of Ophiuchus before. So what is Ophiuchus? Well, it's the 13th sign. It was part of the astrology. It's been up in the sky. It doesn't just appear. Since the Babylonian era, they've known about it. But the Babylonians cut Ophiuchus off of the constellation, the 12 sign wheel that we follow. They cut Ophiuchus out of it, and that's why we only have 12 today. But NASA released about 8 years ago that there is a 13th sign known as Ophiuchus. I have a dear friend, and she always makes this joke, and so you'll probably never forget the name. And she says, oh, fuck this. And so I'm just going to say it. I know it's a little unclassy, but it sticks. And that's one way that I remembered it. And it's funny because, oh, fuck this, that they took a sign off of the zodiac wheel, right? Why would they do that? And as I started studying Ophiuchus, it became more and more apparent why they might have. And so Ophiuchus, and this is amazing for healers, is known as the snake tamer. And if you go back in Greek mythology, Ophiuchus was actually a great healer. And there may be some things that are familiar about the story I'm about to share with you. So Ophiuchus was a great healer. He was such a great healer that they still have temples built devoted to him to this day. Another name he went by was Asclepius. And Asclepius is a very famous name that is actually something that every doctor will read off when they take the Hippocratic Oath. They will pray to Asclepius in the Hippocratic Oath, right? As they make their vow to uphold the values of these ancient deities. Asclepius was one of them. So Asclepius was a doctor. He was an ancient doctor in Greece. He walked the land healing and curing people. He was a medicinal. He knew all the medicines. He knew how to treat people. And as the story of Asclepius, he has two names, Ophiuchus goes, one day he was out walking with a staff. He always carried a staff. And a snake came up to him. And apparently he just accidentally kind of hit the snake too hard to get out of his way. And the snake died. He was kind of upset that he'd killed the snake. He didn't mean to. And all of a sudden, another snake came slithering back up and gave the first snake some herbs. Yeah, some herbs. This brought the snake back to life. And Ophiuchus is sitting there going, what did you just do? How did you bring the snake back to life? And the snake told him, because of course it's a magical story, and the snake taught him how to bring the man back to life. So now he had this new power to bring people back from the dead. Is it starting to sound a little bit familiar here? Yeah. And so he went across the land bringing people back from the dead. He wanted to help people. This, however, got Hades, the god of the underworld, very angry. And Hades basically commanded that he be killed with a lightning bolt. He said, Zeus, the king of the gods, we're going to have to shoot him down because he's violating the natural law, which is that everyone dies. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I kind of like this whole immortal life idea that he was promoting. But he got shot down by a lightning bolt from Zeus. And that is how we have Ophiuchus up in the sky today, known as the snake tamer, because he was able to tame the snake. And so, does this look familiar? Does this kind of look like the Caduceus, which is what they use in medicine to this day? Okay, and so in the Hippocratic Oath, they mention the name Asclepius, who was the father of medicine in Greek mythology, who is also related to the constellation of Ophiuchus. That is what the story is based on. Okay, and so Ophiuchus relates to the power of the Kundalini, right? Was it really herbology that brought this person back from the dead, or was it perhaps the knowledge of the sacred channels, the Ida and the Pingala, the masculine and feminine that rise up the spine? Okay. And so Ophiuchus relates both to medicine, to healing, and to miracles, right? The ability to transcend physical matter to create eternal life. So wherever you have Ophiuchus in your birth chart is going to show where you have certain medicinal energy healing abilities. It's going to show your natural master healer. Some people say Ophiuchus also relates to Jesus, because when you add a 13th number to the zodiac, you suddenly get what? You get 11 apostles, you get one Jesus and one Mary Magdalene. Yeah. So Ophiuchus also relates to the idea that many people hold that there were sacred mystery schools where people were taught, that perhaps where Jesus was taught, how to ascend and raise his Kundalini energy to actually create spiritual enlightenment. Okay, so Ophiuchus relates to the mastery of our energy body and all of the ancient secret mystery training that we have had in this lifetime or in other lifetimes that have led us to where we are now. And so when I work with people who have a lot of strong Ophiuchus placement, I'm highly intuitive and highly psychic, and I see people's past lives. They just kind of jump into my screen. And I tend to see people with a lot of Ophiuchus energy as having been ancient Egyptians in past lives who often had a lot of secret, sacred mystery training around the mastery of energy and initiation experiences where they learned how to conquer death. There was an ancient mystery school practice, initiation rite, where people would actually take herbs and go through a death process to be reborn. And this was something that happened in a lot of ancient mystery school trainings for initiates to learn how to transcend death, to learn how to let go of fear of death and how to step into the field of immortality and rebirth and new life, just like Jesus was ascended, right? And ascended himself into the light body. Okay, so Ophiuchus is everything related to all of that metaphysical, reality stretching, soul mastery energy. So wherever you have Ophiuchus in your birth chart, let's just say it's a secret mystery adventure waiting to unfurl as we reveal where it is in your chart. It's always powerful, and it relates to the area of the sky that is right next to the galactic center. Have you heard of the galactic center before? Yeah. Yeah. So the galactic center, of course, is where we have, it's in the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And there are 4 supermassive black holes there. Some people say that the great central sun is right behind that. You've heard of the great central sun. And so June 18th and December 18th, at the very end of Ophiuchus, is when the sun accesses the galactic center. And so if you're into manifestation, if you're into creation, and if you're into plotting and creating your own life, June 18th and December 18th are 2 of the absolutely most powerful times of the year to set your intention, because it is the most yin time of the year when we're that close to 4 supermassive black holes. It's almost like the most massively fertile energy, right? The darkest, most yin time of the year as we access that energy, which makes it the most fertile. So if you want to plant a seed that's going to just really go big, that is the time of the year. Unknown, but very powerful, right near the 2 solstices. Okay. When you add the 13th sign of Ophiuchus, something else very magical happens. So the Native Americans and the Mayan astrologers follow a calendar that is both 28 days long and 12 moons or 13 moons. And so the turtle has 28 humps, right, on the outside edge and 13 big humps on the inside, which perfectly match the moon cycles of the year. So when you add the 13th sign into the constellation, you immediately line back up with this Earth calendar that's more in tune and more in harmony with the Earth and the rhythms of nature. And I found working with it to be incredibly powerful for aligning myself back into the flow of nature, which is one reason I love to utilize it. Yeah, and so here's Jesus at the Last Supper with 12 others. And so when you add that 13th sign, you suddenly line up with the number of people at the Last Supper. And many say that sitting next to Jesus was Mary Magdalene. This doesn't look like a man to me. I don't know about you. And so a lot of people say that Jesus was not, Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene, is what many people say, and that they were in a divine union. And some say that Ophiuchus represents the coming together of divine union, divine spiritual union between men and women, also the divine union of our feminine and masculine selves. And that is how we achieve enlightenment, is through the balancing, integration, and alignment of our feminine and masculine energies. And so some say Ophiuchus is not male or female, but it represents the balance of those energetics coming together to create illumination and enlightenment. So some things to ponder, some things to ponder. Any questions? Any questions at this point? I know some of you, this is new. Some of you, you've been following this for a while. Any questions out there in the student field? Feel free to raise your hand or unmute, or any comments, any shares. Love to hear from you all.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, Minda, it's been it's been quite a journey, because when I met Minda, this was still inside of me yet to be born. This was like a seed. It's like a seed. And the event that Minda and I went to germinated that seed. And after about a month of us coming together and meeting, that seed sprouted. And I started my business about 3 months after we met, diving into this information. Pam Heath was one of my first clients, and Heidi Ricardo, and I worked with a lot of people that we both know, and it affirmed and confirmed that this information was accurate. And you guys, ladies, gentlemen, I literally have 100% accuracy rating. I think I had one client who was just resistant to everything I said. Like would not be open to it at all out of hundreds of people. And it's just been so incredibly accurate that I've had to step on here and keep sharing it with you all. So I'm glad you're here. Okay.
I have one question.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Hi. It's hard for me to talk because I have my throat. I've been like 7 or 8 days with a cold, and it has, now I'm better. I have no fever or anything, but my throat takes longer to heal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm coughing a lot. Is it also in the sidereal? Does it also have the ascendant, like in the tropical wheel, where the ascendant is very important? Is it
Yes.
also have that here?
Yes, don't worry. It will look very familiar. The main difference is that you're going to have different size houses. And so that means the outer wheel of the astrological chart will have all different sized constellations that the planets and the sun signs are in. That's about it. Otherwise, you're going to have an ascendant sign, you're going to have sun, moon. You might have a couple new things you didn't learn about, because I like to include some fancy stuff. Well, not fancy, but things that I've found that are really helpful. But yeah, that's there. I love the ascendant. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll get into that as well. What I'd like to do is dive into what an astrological chart is actually showing us. How many of you are actually familiar with or confident with reading an astrology chart here? Anyone? Let's see, I can. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to kind of open the door for all of you around how to read a chart, and that it's actually pretty straightforward if we know what we're looking at. Okay, so if you want to, you can grab a pen and paper or anything if you need to write anything down, because this is kind of the more of the training aspect, and then we're going to just mainly go into questions and answers for the rest of the week. But this is our introduction. So here we have an astrological chart. And one thing that's really helpful is to get connected to the chart through our bodies. because we're feminine, we're intuitive beings, I tend to learn through my body. And I really like to sense things in my body and feel them intuitively. I really love working with women and intuitive people who also like to feel, because it's very helpful. Okay. So here we have an astrological chart. I want you all to imagine yourself standing on the grass of this field and reaching your arms up towards the sky. Okay. And let's imagine this is your moment of birth. What are we actually seeing in the chart? So the chart is the microcosm of what was happening in the sky at the moment of your birth. So here you're standing on the ground. The middle line represents the horizon. It represents everything that is below you. Okay. And this represents everything that is above. Okay. So at the moment of your birth, you're standing here on the grass, you're looking up at the sky. So all the planets and all the constellational signs that are in the chart right here represent all the planets and the signs that you could see up in the sky at the moment of your birth. Okay. The left side right here is the far eastern horizon. That's where the ascendant or rising sign is. This represents sunrise. It's the energy of sunrise. It's the beginning, right? So I often think of the house, the 12th house that comes right before that first house here. So 12th house to first house, that line as being birth itself. Because the 12th house represents everything that is sort of gestating, womb-like. It's the great return back to the ocean of oneness. Whereas the first house represents our identity. It represents what we look like. It represents our individuality. It represents I am. And so it's that moment of birth where we come from the 12th house, which is the womb. It's the mama. It's just beingness into the form and the matter of the ego, which is I am an individual. And so it will show us what you look like, your ego presentation. Okay, are you more fiery of a personality? That's what people will see when they first meet you. Are you more earthy? Are you more watery? The elements that are here will tell us what we look like. Okay, I've seen a lot of people with a fire rising sign have reddish hair. It's amazing. And it's just so matches. Or I've seen people who have water here and they have a very voluptuous, curvaceous figure. I've seen people with earth rising and they're very grounded and they're very strong. And it's remarkable how much we tend to look like our rising signs. Very powerful. Then if we keep going, what is below, right? There's a whole other half of the astrology chart. If this is everything that's above us at the moment that we were born, what's down here? Well, this represents our inner life. It is the yin half of the chart. So everything that is internal, everything that is intuitive, that is hidden, that is yin, is below that horizon line. Everything that is above the horizon line, that means whatever planets or signs you have in the above, that's yang. The top half of the chart is how you're going to give outwardly to the world. Are you going to be a politician? Are you going to be an actress? Are you going to be someone who really shines out in the world? You'll probably have a ton of planets up on the top half. Okay. Are you going to be someone who does more self-care and connects to your family and friends and you live more of a quiet life? You're more internal. You're more focused within. You'll have a lot more planets on the lower half. Okay. So I'm giving you a very basic introduction on how you can already begin to assess your own chart and find out, okay, am I more external? That's going to be planets up in the top. So planets are these things here. So those symbols, the sun, Neptune, Venus, Pluto, Moon, Saturn, those are planets. And so the more planets you have in the top half, the more external, the more yang, the more of an impression you're going to make on the world stage. The reverse is true for the bottom half. So the more yin you are, the more internal you are, the more of a splash you're going to make with your friends and your families. You're going to be more internal of a person. Okay, and so that's one way we can start to read the chart. Now, if we divide it the other way and we look at the vertical line down the center, all the planets to your left represent you being a strong individual, very focused on yourself. All the planets on the right mean you're very relationship focused. So you're someone who's really excited about connection. So if I meet a parent and they have a child, and that child, they're trying to figure out, how to plan their schooling, I would tell them if that child had a lot of planets on the right side, which is relationship, do not leave that child alone. Don't expect them to pursue hobbies or do things very independently. They're someone who craves physical connection and relationship connection. Now, if that parent came to me and the child had tons of planets on the left, I'd say, let them play by themselves. Let them study their own interests because they're very individually focused. We all need both, but the chart can show us where our focus is. If we're more individually focused, that can be people who have multiple PhDs, multiple careers. They're just always, you know what I'm talking about? There's like some people who have a gazillion certificates and they're continually on the trail, self-development. They're very self-focused. They don't maybe have that many relationships, but they're very self-focused on growth and development. They might have a ton of things on the left side. They're like, oh, I just wrote a book. I just traveled to this country. And you're just like, wow, they're really on a path. And then you meet someone on the right and they have tons of planets on the right and they might be married. Maybe they have tons of friends. They have tons of relationships, and that's where their focus is. Okay. It's very, very interesting. Any questions about this or comments? I know you're still processing. It's okay. If you have them, you can ask them. Yeah, go ahead. If there's anything you're not getting, please ask, because if we don't get something now, there's a chance that later on your brain will like kind of stop taking in information. So I just want to make sure that we all have this. Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I have that with the sun, since the sun is our where we have our vital energy and where we should aspire to go forth. If it's then below the horizon, then it would be a more inward destiny to ourselves. Then if it were on the top, then it would be a more outward kind of destiny of myself.
That's such a great question. That's such a great question. So one thing is that there's another structure to know about a chart, because most of us know about sun sign, right? And then we learn, oh, well, the under half is about inner. So how do we find our outward expression if our sun is inner? And so that brings me to the discussion of what I call the 4 pillars, or the 4 main points. And this is so powerful, my friends. Very few people teach this. In an astrology chart, there are 4 main points that represent sort of the 4 pillars of our essence. And that by knowing these 4 pillars, we can very quickly assess someone's identity, their way of being. And I love sharing this with new people because it's very simple. Okay. What those 4 pillars are, number 1 is the ascendant, which is over here on the far left side. That's our identity. It's what we look like. This also relates to time of day. And this relates to sunrise. Okay, so this is how we rise in our giving of who we are to the world. Then we come down to the below. And we come to something called the IC. IC is short for Imam Coeli. You don't have to remember this, but it means bottom of the sky. And it relates to midnight. Let's see if I have a good graphic. Whoa. I'm going to share screen again. All right. So IC represents the bottom of the sky. Whew. All right. This is a good chart for it. Okay. So here are the 4 pillars. Okay, we have the ascendant, which is the identity, sunrise. This, and then we come down and we get to the sun at midnight. So this represents the root system of the chart. This is the deepest, most buried part of us. I call it the root cellar or the basement, or, you know, where all the things that are deeply within us, like our ancestry, our DNA, the most private part of ourselves. Most people don't share this with the world, right? We keep this fairly hidden, the I see. Okay. And that's midnight. Yeah. If you have your sun down here, it will probably mean that you're very internal, you're very protective. The IC really correlates to the astrological sign of Cancer, which is the home, which is the mom, which is family. Okay, it's also protective, like the symbol for Cancer is the crab. So when you have a lot of planets down here at the IC, you tend to be very protective of yourself, right? You tend to not maybe share yourself very much with other people. And yet you can be very loving, very nurturing with those that you love and care for, those that you are close to. Okay. That leads us to the 3rd pillar, which is directly opposite the ascendant. And the 3rd pillar is related to the sun at dusk. So it's sunset. It is also related to relationship. And it's directly opposite identity and individual. Isn't that interesting? So relationship directly opposite identity. Kind of makes sense. So if you have an issue with relationships, you might want to check out things happening around the ascendant and your identity. If you have issues with identity yourself, you might want to also check out the relationship house to see if there's something there. They're sort of reciprocal mirrors, if you will, of each other. It's very interesting. The chart is a bit like a divine polarity. Every house has an opposite. Every sign has an opposite. And so the chart shows us polarity and how we embody polarity individually, and then how we connect to other people, a bit like a big Rubik's Cube or Lego, kind of connecting in with other Rubik's Cubes and Legos, right? We all kind of connect in certain ways. It's very powerful to look at the chart. Okay, so that brings us to the 4th pillar, which is to answer your question on why you're getting this whole lengthy explanation. Do you see that big sun up there? Yeah, so that is called the MC. And if you think about a party, who is in charge of the party? Right, the MC, right? They're MCing everything. And so the MC is a bit like that. It's in charge of your whole chart. I call it, and I've never heard anyone else say this before, but I call it the secondary sun sign. So if your sun sign is down deep in the root cellar of the chart, you know, hidden and protected, and you're trying to figure out, how do I shine? Right? How do I get my purpose out into the world? We are going to look at the midheaven. And even if your sun is up there with the midheaven, it's such a powerful placement to look. Yeah. So the midheaven is this powerful energy of purpose. I love this point. I absolutely adore it. If you're trying to figure out, what am I here for? What is my gift? How am I going to shine the brightest? Look for the sign that is on your midheaven, because that represents your highest shining ability. It gives you ideas about activities, people, things, events that will really speak to your heart in terms of who you are and your purpose. Yeah, pretty cool, right? I love sharing this with people because I didn't know it for many years. And once I learned these 4 points, I realized that almost anyone can begin to learn to read a chart pretty fast once you know this structure. Because otherwise it's like so much information, you know, it's overwhelming. But when you boil it down to these 4 points, and just as a beginner, you start to just focus in on identity, ascendant, IC, deep emotion, family, DS or descendant, relationships and love, MC, purpose and path, it kind of distills things down. It makes things very approachable. Okay, so we're going to look at that with your charts over the next 5 days. Here is a very interesting chart that I came across. Okay, here it is. It's a little complicated, but it also kind of shares with you the structure of what we're looking at in the chart. So what we have here is, of course, the ascendant, the Imam Coeli, the descendant. So first house ascendant is identity, image, and self. That's from 6 a.m. to 4 a.m. So sunrise time. Okay. The IC is related to the fourth house, which is family. It's mid AM, so from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. Family, parents, security, home. I also say DNA and ancestry. So if you're like, I'm really working on my ancestry, I'm really working on healing blocks in my ancestry, because a lot of times that can be holding us back, or I'm really looking to heal my family, this is where you would look to see what might be happening there. Okay. Then we get to the descendant, and that's the seventh house. That's 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., which is sunset. Marriage, relationships, unions, and the law also. Law things are related here. And then you get up to the 10th house. It doesn't have the MC, but it's right sort of between the 9th and 10th. And so it's sort of a combination between career, authority, fame, philosophy, social, and travel, right? It's kind of how we, you know, the way I describe the midheaven, the MC, think about the Christmas tree. Okay. So the IC would be the roots of a Christmas tree, and the MC would be the star on the top. And there's this really great saying I learned from T. Harv Eckert, which is the roots create the fruits. So if we're having issues with our purpose or expressing our soul path, we always have to look down into the root system to see what might be there blocking our blossoming, blocking our full expression of who we are. Okay. Any questions up to this point? This is the structure of a chart. These give you the houses 1 through 12. They tell you what each of the houses represent. We just learned that below the horizon is internal, it's yin, whereas everything above is external, related to who we are and what we're all about, sort of what we give to the world. Yeah, any questions? Any questions, comments? Anyone want to process what you're learning?
I'm
Can I
getting
ask something?
confused.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Minda.
Oh, no, go ahead. I said I just said I am confused.
Yes. Okay, we'll get to you. Minda, what's your question? Or do you have one or you need more clarity?
No, I'm just making a statement. I feel confused.
Okay. So let's try and trace this back. Okay.
Can I ask a question about the yin and yang that you said below is yin, above is yang?
Yeah.
So then if the planets that are in the below, since they're in the yin energy, would they have less power than if they were up on the top? Like Mars, for example, which is so fiery. If it was below, it would be different than it was
Yes.
above.
Yes. And this has been really interesting to watch because I have an app on my phone called Star Walk 2. If you haven't invested in this, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And I watch when planets are under the horizon line. Okay, so the planets move across the sky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there, Minda just had her moment. That's awesome. So the planets move across the sky, and at the moment we were born, some of the planets were not visible. They weren't up in the sky, they were below, they weren't visible. And so all those planets that weren't visible tend to have a little bit less oomph than all the planets that were above. And so I've been like kind of experimenting and looking at my Star Walk 2 app to see, well, what happens when a planet is below the horizon line? And what I've noticed is that the planet tends to be quieter. It just tends to be like a little muted. Like the energy of it's not quite as like, woo, you know, like in your face. Yeah. It's very interesting. And so on days when you notice there's a ton of planets under the horizon line, you know, if you're a presenter, you're someone who wants to go out or you want to like bring people together, just know it's going to be a little more challenging because people will be feeling more internal. So it's a great way of keeping track of the energetics of the collective. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Minda, did that clear up some confusion?
Yes, it did.
Oh, good. I know you're like, what is what? I know.
I thought it was just stationary and not moving around.
Right. Yeah, I know. And I don't think I grasped that until maybe last year as well. It's like, oh, this is what is happening. This is what a chart is actually showing at the moment you were born is what planets were up in the sky at that moment and what planets were below the horizon and you couldn't see them. And that's why it gives us such an amazing blueprint of who we are, right? Where is our Mars planet? Is it above? Is it really active and assertive, or is it below and more quiet? And so it's such a great tool for getting a sense of people and especially as a practitioner, right? As a coach, as a healing arts person, to know where does this person, what is their planetary makeup? Are they more external? There's so much. It's so helpful. Okay. So everyone's good. We've got everyone on board here. Now you can sort of take in the fact that there are 12 houses in an astrological chart. The first 6 houses relate to that more yin. And of course, they relate to our identity, money and possessions, communication, family, pleasure, health, and service. So that's kind of the things that kind of build our foundation, right? We have those things in our lives. It's like self-care. It's like going to the post office, right? Going to the store, going home. It relates to that inner life. Whereas everything on the above is bigger, right? And you think about relationship tends to, you know, in our society, it leads to marriage, and marriage becomes this kind of bigger than ourselves phenomenon, isn't it? Like it's kind of this little bit of a bigger step into expansion, the whole marriage process. And then the 8th house, sex, power, transformation, death. The 8th house is initiations. So I have a lot of clients who have a ton of planets in the 8th house. And if they have planets in the 8th house, they tend to be shamans. They tend to be people who are very tuned into power and energy and the death rebirth cycle. Maybe they go through a death rebirth cycle like every day, whereas like they go through some crazy expansion and then they're like reborn. And you know people like that. That's just their life. They're learning and growing so rapidly. And then you have people, and it relates to the sign of Scorpio. So I should probably backtrack and say each house also has a direct correlation to a sign. Okay, so the first house is traditionally lined up with Aries, right? It's the beginning. Aries is the first sign. The second house relates to Taurus, which is grounding, it's earth, it's building wealth. So wherever we have Taurus in our chart can relate to money. Wherever we have the planet that rules Taurus, Venus, can relate to money. And so Taurus and Venus, the billionaire planet, that's our money stuff for the chart. Second house, Taurus and Venus, that's all about money, wealth. Okay. Third house, communication, that's Gemini. Gemini is air. It's the rapid flow of communication between you and something else. It's the sharing of knowledge. Okay. Fourth house, Cancer, home, family, parents, security, the mom. Fifth house is Leo, Leo energy, fire, right? Loves to perform, loves to be childlike. It's the sun, right? Sixth house is Virgo, work, service, health. This is the house of the healer. This is the house of the doctor. This is the house of all health related things. So, you know, as a health practitioner or a healer, if you're on this call and you want to get more clarity with your clients around their health issues, the 6th house, the sign Virgo, and I'm going to say the asteroid Kitties or Demeter are going to give you a lot of information around health, as well as Ophiuchus, the 13th sign. Wherever Ophiuchus is going to probably reveal a lot. Then 7th house relates to Libra, marriage. 8th house relates to Scorpio. 9th house is Sagittarius, which is travel. 10th house is Capricorn. It's like climbing the mountain to the top of the peak and creating true success. Capricorn, it's that peak of the mountain. 11th house is Aquarius. It's the sharing of your gift with as many people as possible. Aquarius is the world. It's the brothers and sisters of humanity. It's, you know, let's say you have a mission, you have a purpose, you have something big you're here to do. The 11th house will share what that is. That's the house of you affecting a huge number of people. So whatever you have there is going to just like blow your mind in terms of the impact you're going to have. Now, a lot of people I work with who have huge impact, like they're just, that's their destiny, tend to have a lot of planets between the 9th, 10th, and 11th houses, because it is the external yang, okay? And it's all about fame and it's all about community. So big, big impact. And then those that aren't, that's not their main focus, right? They need to be encouraged that it's okay to not have to have this huge trajectory. I've had a lot of people who their past life point is all up here and having this big purpose, but their destiny point is down here in the house of home and family. And I tell them this and they almost cry because they're like so relieved that they don't have to try and go do the big thing this time. They're like, it never felt right. I never wanted to. I just want to be at home with my family. And I want it to be okay that I just want to be at home with my family. And so this chart can give people permission that what they've always felt inside is real and that they don't have to conform to fit societal expectation. So this is the basic layout of what a chart is, right? We've got those 4 points of power. We've got all the signs. Here's another map that's a little bit more descriptive, shows all the signs. And it says the zodiac's first signs are about how we learn about the world and what we show others, lest they not know it about us. I don't know what that's all about, but so it's what we show of others. And the zodiac's second 6 signs are about how we operate in the world and all the world sees of us. Very interesting description there. The first 3 signs are associated with the process of realizing who we actually are. So the first 3 houses, the first 3 signs are really about establishing our identity, who we are. The second 3 signs relate to responding to others and our environment with our abilities, thus learning how to be effective. So we're taking all that we learned in the first 3 signs, and then we're taking them to apply them to others to see how we can serve others, right? The left-hand side of the chart is about self, so developing self. The right-hand side is about others. So this makes sense. The 6 signs on the right side represent responsive process and the building of experience. Never heard that before. So that means it's a relation, right? The responsive process. So it's about how we relate to others. All the signs on the left represent that which we proactively employ in life. So that's individually driven. How do we bring our gifts and talents to the world? How do we create change? Whereas the right side is all about how we interact with others relationally to create change. Okay. Here are a brief definition and explanation of the main 10 planets. There are other asteroids as well. Okay, so sun is often related to bringing life into existence with energizing, powerful force. So it's soul energy. Moon is about giving life meaning through dynamic inward reflection. It's emotion. It's how we feel about things. Mercury is about thought. Venus is beauty and love. Okay. And you can come back to this. You can screenshot it. I won't spend too long here. But that is a brief overhaul of what an astrological chart is. This is a really cool little map of what we're looking at. So there are 3 components to a chart. There's the outer ring that has all the signs, and that changes. That changes based on the time you were born and the location. It's always going to change. So everyone has a different outer ring, which is a different rising sign. And then it changes where each of the signs falls on these houses. The inner ring never changes. It's always 1 through 12. And it shows you that the first house is always associated with Aries. Do you see how it's red here and red there? First house is always associated to Aries. Second house, always associated to Taurus. But they're not on each other. What does that mean? Right. So even though each of the houses is associated with a certain astrological sign, do you see how this outer ring does not match that wheel? Our unique expression is determined by the combination of what signs we have on which houses, the sign it's typically associated with, and all the planets that are in between. That might take a little time to unpack, but there are basically 3 gears to an astrological chart. 1 is the outer ring, all the signs that are on the houses. Number 2 are all the planets that are in the chart. And number 3 is all the aspects that they make to each other. Anyone confused? Or want more clarity? Questions?
Sorry, again, me.
Yes, Anna, go ahead.
When you said before that the right side is how we relate to others, and then the left side, which was on the other chart you were showing, and the left side is how I didn't get it, how we relate to
ourselves. Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it's very individualistic, whereas the right side is very other, right? It's very much about relationship. So are you someone who's more self-focused, or are you someone who's more involved with your relationships? And so that's one way that you can use a chart to really reveal that information.
Right. But on the next chart that comes after this one, that one,
Oh,
you were saying that since the right side has to do with others, then the left side, you said how we apply what happens on the left. With that part I didn't get.
I didn't get that either. I just got this chart and I didn't fully read. I was like, wait a minute. This is confusing. I think this is just confusing. Let's just simplify it to the left side is all about self.
Okay.
And the right side is all about other. Sometimes we're like, oh, this looks like a great chart. And then I'm like, oh my God, why did they make it so confusing? So I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Yeah. So we're just dealing with, this chart's a little easier. Left side self, right side other. Under chart yin, internal, upper chart external. Very basic. No more complicated charts, just very basic. Left is self, right is relational, above is external, below is internal. Yeah, amazing, right? I mean, you could look at anyone's chart now, okay, and be able to discern, are they more internal or external? By counting the planets that is in each section, okay? So that's what we're going to do now. So who would like to go first? And thank you to Heidi Ricardo for this amazing testimonial. I got to work with her and reveal some really powerful information. And I wish I had the picture of her, but she's literally lying on the grass with her feet up in the air because she was so free and liberated after that session. Like she said, she felt like a little child again, just like totally connected back to her soul essence. And it just kept me going. It's kept me going, all these beautiful messages. So, all right. Who would like to go first? Who would like to have your chart? We're going to do like a basic overall analysis, right? We just looked at, are we more internal? Are we more external? So we're just going to start there. We're going to start very basic with what is your energetic component? We'll do this for the next 30 minutes and we'll be done for tonight and we'll get ready for tomorrow. So raise your hand if you'd like to go first. Yeah, Minda. All right, awesome. There she is. All right. Okay. I found this great picture of you. So, oh no, let me get your birthday covered up here. I apologize. Thought I got everyone covered with a nice little heart or another star. There we go. There we go. Keep your birth info private. Okay. So here we go. So we're going to look at Minda's chart. We're going to use what we just learned. So we're going to divide first the chart in half, right? So at the moment she was born, all these planets were above and all these planets were below. And so we'll just start by counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 things above. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So she has more planets above, which knowing Minda, that makes a lot of sense because I met her at a really big event where we were really actively pursuing our soul path and our purpose. And it was big energy, right? It was like big soul energy. It was beautiful. I'm so glad I got to meet you there. So the first message is Minda's a bit more yang in her energetic. However, several of her main planets are under. So it's not just how many are above and below, it's which planets are above and which planets are below, because each planet has a unique constitution. And so Minda's sun is doing exactly what Anna talked about, which what happens when the sun is very close to the IC, which is the deepest, most internal, sort of more protective, it's the most yin part of the whole chart. And so when you have a lot of planets in the most yin part of the chart, you're generally very protective. It's the house of the mom. It's the house of home and family. You tend to be very caring and loving. You love your family. You probably love your family on a deeper level because your son is there than most people can imagine, because it's in the house of family. It's in the house of home, right? And so it makes sense that, losing your daughter was probably one of the most deeply painful things that a soul would have to go through. And I send you so much, like, massive amounts of love to you. I really do. And to her as well. And I feel her love for you. I really deeply feel it just overflowing to you all the time. And I feel like she's very proud of you. Like she's incredibly proud of you. It's making me very teary-eyed. Whew. And you also have, wow, yeah, like just tears. You also have Mercury, which is the planet of communication, conjunct your IC. And so you speak the language of emotion. You connect to people on a very deep emotional level. You don't mince matters. You don't pretend. You don't, cut corners. You come from your heart and your soul. You come from the deepest part of yourself when you speak to people. I mean, Mercury conjunct the IC, that is the deepest part of the chart. It's the most internal. And so to have Mercury there means you speak from like the womb of the mother, I guess is the best way I could put it. I don't know if you've, ever followed Amma, the hugging saint, but you really deeply resonate to the Divine Mother energy with Mercury there next to the 4th house and with the sun in the 4th house. Whew, you also have your karmic destiny point of the past in the 4th house of the home, which could mean that you have had quite a lot of experiences in the home, being a mom, having a family. And so it's a very deep, almost karmic thing that you've carried and had to go through. And it's been very intense and very strong energy to work through. Which shows me that your destiny point, your future self, what you're moving into, is up here in the house of career, directly opposite this internal house in the outer house of purpose, which is going out there. And your destiny point is conjunct Pluto, exactly. And wow, this is intense. So Pluto is the god of the underworld. It is the god of death. It is the god of intensity and transformation and power. And so with Pluto conjunct your destiny point, it means that one of your teachers has been death. One of your teachers has been loss. One of your teachers has been the initiation of going through this intensity. And that one of the gifts, one of your gifts really is to share the emotion, because it's in Cancer, which is the mother of what you've been through. And to share this with other moms and to share this with other families who have been deeply hurt and wounded. And so you have the capacity with Pluto, which is the planet of greatest depth, to go there with the families. And it's right near your midheaven, which is your purpose. This is your highest, the star of your Christmas tree. And to go out into the world, this is so interesting because Cancer typically relates to the 4th house. And I'm very emotional right now because Cancer is the deepest emotion. It is the womb of the mother. Whew. And so for you to have your destiny, one of the biggest challenges for you is to go out into the world, right? This is not internal, this is external. This is not to bring the mother energy home and create that nest and that family. It is to take the lessons from home and then to bring them out into the world as your purpose, to share your gifts of emotional healing and depth and transformation with the world, which is exactly what you said that you were working on.
Yeah.
But it just, I'm just so emotional, Minda, because I'm literally feeling how your star map correlates, and you muscle tested your birth time, which is just phenomenal. And so you didn't know your birth time today, and I said, well, please, we can get it muscle tested, and you know how to do that, and you did it. And so this chart was crafted based on your own testing, which seems really, really accurate for what you're talking about, which is kind of blowing my mind. And so it speaks to what you've been through being. So Pluto is about taking the challenges and the intensity and the power of what we've gone through. The good, the bad, the ugly, the deep, the freaking intense that we don't know that we're going to get through, that kind of intensity. And then with your destiny point being exactly conjunct it, being able to alchemize. So you have become, through the challenges of your past lives and your karma and the things you had to work through and the pain and the loss, basically an ambassador for other families to heal through emotion and to heal through transformation. This is literally your destiny. It's your destiny point. And I want to acknowledge that Cancer is not an easy energy to go out into the world with. Okay, because Cancer feels very vulnerable, right? The symbol is the crab or the turtle. Okay, so you feel very much like you need to defend and protect what is very vulnerable and soft within. Like you are such an angel at heart. Like you're just so gentle and loving and kind. And this world is not necessarily very designed for that level of love that you hold, that sensitivity, that vulnerability, that feminine essence of the mother, the mom, the caregiver, right? But this is a time to change all of that. This is a time we're changing that scenario. We're changing the narrative. We're creating space and safety for the divine feminine goddess, the mother energy, to come through. And so I really want to acknowledge that this has been challenging for you and that it's okay, that you're not doing anything wrong, that maybe the time it's taken you to bring this out to the world, that it's okay. You've had to protect that which is sacred. But it is an encouragement that you are here to do that. And there's just so much energy coming through for you. Like
Oh, thank you.
I'm literally seeing, Minda. Have you ever heard of the 8 Immortals? They are Asian ascended masters. And I once tuned into them in an acupuncture college. I'd learned about them and I prayed to them to assist me with my acupuncture session. And what I'm seeing is you bringing through this sort of energy of the 8 Immortals with your work, right? That level of healing is possible. And then we look at your 11th house, which is Jupiter, which is the great teacher, and Leo, which is shining. So as much as your destiny point is to tap into emotion and stay nurtured and protective of that beauty within you, and also assist people's families through their grief and through their initiations, you're also here to be a teacher on a very large scale. Jupiter and Leo in the 11th house, right? The house of the world. And you've got Moon in Virgo, which is the healer, in the first house of identity. So your very identity is this healing energy, right? Your very nurturing emotional energy is healing. It's detailed, it's analytical, it's precise, it's perfect. You're very perfect with your work. And that could be something to be careful with. You don't have to always be so perfect, right? Allow yourself to have humanness, right? Allow yourself to, it's okay to not always be perfect. It's okay to just show up as you are. That can be tricky with Virgo rising and moon in Virgo, but it's okay. You're allowed to be human. You're perfect without perfection, if that makes any sense. There was a little child I watched. I was like, she was 2 years old. And I think she was an ascended master in a child's body. And one day I was watching her and she would get so life-filled. And she looked at me and she started chanting, perfectly imperfect, perfectly imperfect, perfectly imperfect. And I just was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Like, is this really happening? But she chanted that for like 5 minutes, staring into my soul. And I was like, I got that message that as humans, we are perfectly imperfect, and it is our imperfections that create our perfection. And to not doubt a step, Minda, to not doubt a single step that you've taken. You're a divine leader, and you just need to trust yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I didn't mean to go so deep there, but that's what came through.
That was deep, and that's exactly where I want to go and where I had been.
Yeah. Yeah, with Pluto with your destiny point, you are very deep. And I love that about you. And I appreciate depth. I do. I think it would be a very boring life without that level of depth and being. And thanks for being open to share.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you.
Yes, we will respect that, Cancer North Node, and move on. With much love to you, Minda. Okay, so who would like to go next? Who would like? Okay, Odie, is that Odie?
Well, it's pronounced Odile, but everyone calls me Odie, so
Odie. Oh, that's sweet.
it's easier to say in English.
Okay, is it foreign?
It's a French name.
It's a French name. Oh, beautiful.
It's de France.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So we're going to start with the same way we did with Minda. And I got so distracted by some of those amazing things she has going on. Wow, wow. Okay. So we are going to do the same thing again. We're going to divide your chart into half. Okay. And we're going to look how many planets above and how many planets below. did you all notice how even though Minda had her sun below the horizon line, her destiny point was above it, right? So even if your sun sign is below the horizon line, your destiny may still be external. And that's a challenge where you're kind of, I'm internal, I'm private, I don't like to be public, but I'm growing the muscle destiny point of becoming more external. And do you see how powerful this is to know how it can really help us with this inner dichotomy we often have? Do I take action or do I not? Okay. So we're going to look at your chart and we're going to count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 planets above, or 12 things, right? 12 points, 12 asteroids, 12 planets above. Then below 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you're pretty equally balanced with external expression and internal. You have both. You also have the sun below the horizon, like Minda, but unlike Minda's being down in the most yin, right, which makes her much more private and internal, yours is very close to that line. And so that means that your energy essence is not nearly as private. You're much more external and outgoing than having sun in the fourth. And the sun is actually conjunct your ascendant, which tells me that you're big energy. When you first meet someone, people feel your presence, right? You shine like the sun. Right? You have this, it's almost like having Leo rising because your sun is so close to the ascendant. So you're very vibrant, you're very vivacious, you have this lust, this love for life, right? You just exude life force energy. And you also have Venus very close to the ascendant. So that means love energy as well. So your identity, this is the house of self, is full of energy here. When we meet you, it's like, hi, like there's a lot of charge, right? There's a lot of electricity here. And so Venus is love, Sun is soul, it's illumination. Pisces is the spirit, it's water. So it's interesting because you have that solar heat, right? It's the hottest planet, but it's in water. And so you're kind of steamy. You kind of have this like sultry, steamy ability to access both that divine masculine fire and that divine feminine water. And so you're really amazing in terms of your ability to balance feminine, masculine energies. You have a very balanced expression of female masculine just in your very core identity of who you are. And it's also kind of veers towards the feminine because it's Venus in Pisces versus Mars, right? But the sun does give you a strength, a certain amount of leadership, and a certain amount of being able to go center stage, be like, hi, you know, like I'm here because the sun is the center. So you tend to be a really powerful spokesperson, or people are drawn to you as a leader, I would imagine. I feel that when I look at you. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You want to say anything there?
Yes, I'd like to have a question regarding the birth chart that you're following. Although there's 13 signs or 13 planets, the one that you're following, do you have a recommended website to go extract the birth chart? Or is it just a typical one? Like I have one here in front of me where it has the sun like below the horizon in Aries, but seeing with the 13th sign, would that mean my sun would normally be under Pisces?
Right. Yeah, very different.
Yeah. Well, I know that because I also studied a little bit of the Vedic astrology, and I saw that the difference with the two. So is there a website, or where can I get like the accurate 13?
Yeah.
Is it 13 houses or 13
Yeah.
signs? How did you
Right.
13 signs, I think, right?
13 signs and 12 houses. We fit Ophiuchus into the 8th. So we have
Okay,
two signs associated with the 8th house. One of the bonuses I'm going to give all of you for attending this challenge is I'm going to send all of you your charts tonight so that
oh,
you
beautiful.
get to study them. And I also, eventually I'm going to have a link on my website that can do that for everyone. It's still in process. But yes,
That's awesome.
you can get your chart. I'll send it over tonight. It's amazing, right? This is a very different map, and this map holds power. Every time I open up someone's chart and I do healing work, when they have their chart open, it's 20,000 times more powerful.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to follow with you visually.
Yeah.
And it's just astounding when I took like just a general 8-hour astrology, just a general, but I've been interested for a very long time to really understand the chart, and it seemed life gets in the way and then you just come back to it. Now I have time to look at it. And I was thinking, like, if the moon has a 28-day cycle, how can it fit into 12 signs? It's impossible. Mathematically, it doesn't work. And when you were speaking of this, I was saying, oh, hallelujah.
Right.
Somebody gets it because of the teacher I questioned, and it was like, well, this is the way it's done, and it's always been this way. But it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Right.
He says
Right.
it's just easier to divide the circle by 360, and every sign is 30 degrees and this, that. I said, okay, but if there's 28 days in each moon, then there's 13. There has to be 13 different. Every moon has its own flavor, let's say. So there
Yes.
should be 13 signs. Anyway, I said,
Exactly.
well, class 1, I'm not going to argue. I just listened through, and I said, I'm not going to pursue because I felt that it wasn't precise.
Right. Right. And I
And you
think,
came along. I was saying somebody has to know this. I can't be the only one who's clicked like something's not working here. So I'm
yeah.
really honored to meet you and to
Yeah.
follow in your footsteps. I just fascinated.
Oh man, I tell you, when I discovered this whole system, I remember just sitting and I cast my own chart after years of having one chart, and I finally got to see mine, and I sat on a bench and I cried
Oh
because
yeah.
there were things that changed that I was like, oh my God, this is who I am. Ah, like finally, like I feel it like in my bones, and it was just so empowering. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you're all here.
Yeah, well, that's why so I'm really pleased that we're going to be able to take a look at our chart and maybe have this tool to look maybe at other people to understand sometimes how can we resonate with some people and others is more conflictual.
Oh yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
gives the forgiveness I find is easier when you understand, oh, they're born that way.
It is.
Let it go. You're not going to change.
Yep.
It's the way they
Yep.
are, and that's it. So it's
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yes, 100%. So let's go ahead and dive in and let's look at the other way for your chart. Okay, so we're going to look at the left hand versus the right hand side. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you, my friend, are someone who is very individually focused, right? You're very devoted to your own path, your own purpose, who you are, as opposed to the focus being on relationships. That doesn't mean you won't have relationships. It just means that in terms of planning your life out, do you focus on, I should do this to be with my partner, or do I follow my own path? You're going to follow your own path because that is where your energy is. I mean, 15 planets on the left-hand side. Okay. Individually focused,
So,
self-focused.
so here's the study of astrology, wanting to know deeper of who I am, what am I here for? Obviously, the healing aspect also, that's another very important facet for me. And
Yeah.
then on the other side, I'm single. So
Yes.
so there you go. I'm
That doesn't mean
not
love.
looking for a relationship, not
It
well in a
doesn't
relationship.
it doesn't mean that that's not possible, but it's sort of like a soul agreement where it's like you chose, like, I'm going to make me the priority.
This
And
time around.
yeah, and as you do that, eventually that might just magnetize love in because you're so fulfilled in doing what your soul wanted you to do that it just attracts it, right? Because what we are is what we attract in. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm going to leave all the juicy things that I want to share with you for the next several days, so I don't give everything away tonight. But I can tell you that you're an exceptional, you have some pretty powerful money magic a brewing. So I'm just going to invite you to put that into your pocket because we're going to be tuning into the wealth stuff tomorrow at the new moon. And we'll be looking at how do we find wealth in the chart?
Okay.
And where is this new moon? So this, the new moon, I'll give you that tonight. The new moon is going to be in Aries tomorrow. So it's going to be activating your second house, which is money.
Jupiter and Taurus.
And
right?
Jupiter and Taurus, which is, that's amazing. Jupiter is the millionaire planet. Taurus is the billionaire sign. And so you have incredible wealth capacity. You really do. You have incredible wealth capacity. So my hope over the next 5 days is to assist you in really dialing in what is the path for your wealth capacity to reach its attainment, to reach its fruition, and what could in any way be holding it back. And then work on releasing that. Yeah. So that's what the chart can do. That's one of the ways that we can look at that. So tomorrow we'll be going over the millionaire planet and the billionaire planet. And where do you have that in your chart? What is that? As well as the second house. And so amazingly, you have Jupiter in Taurus, which is the millionaire planet in the sign of the billionaire. So Jupiter is a teacher. So it could be that there could be some very powerful teaching, probably related to the earth. It could be related to women. It could be related to earthy things, like beautiful things like the earth, like gardening, like plants and nature, that wealth comes through for you. But we'll unpack this more tomorrow. Before we keep flowing here, any more questions before we do?
No, I'm just excited to get through this.
I'm excited too. I am going to share one more thing with you, which is your destiny point, because we talked to Minda quite a bit about that, and that will be further highlighted when we dive into how the chart reveals our purpose.
Yeah.
There's about 5 main things I look for around purpose, and once you know what those are, man, it's powerful. So we're going to really focus on 2 of those 5 over the course. One of them is the destiny point. So we looked at Minda's, hers, of course, being in Cancer, which is home, family, emotion. Yours is in Taurus, and it's in the 3rd house of communication. And so you're like, okay, I've got this beautiful Jupiter in Taurus. It's the millionaire planet. Where's my money? Like, come on, universe, what are you doing here? Well, your destiny point is also in Taurus. And that tells me that one of your biggest lessons in this lifetime is learning Taurus energy. It's learning about grounding. It's learning about material world stuff like food, clothing, shelter, structure, safety, building a garden, building a home, like building your security. It's all earth-based learning. Whereas your past life point, your karmic point, is in Ophiuchus, which is the ancient mystery schools. So it tells me, and I'm just gonna say what I'm getting. I'm just gonna be fully honest here, that you were probably a priestess in an ancient mystery school in Egypt, which you already knew. And you were highly trained, highly practical. Yeah, goosebumps. Highly adept. I mean, I think I knew you. I'm like, oh, hi. And you were very high level, extremely high level adept. So a lot of this life, you've just come through with, I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn about energy. I'm going to learn about manifestation. I'm going to teach this. And the universe is saying, yes, you are exceptionally skilled and talented at that. Please get a garden and plant some food and learn how to grow it. And this is not just, this is also energetic in terms of learn how to plant seeds and water them and have your feet barefoot on the earth. It's sort of asking you to simplify, to not necessarily always go as deep, but to learn how to live and enjoy the physical reality of the senses, like touch, like enjoying a delicious peach, like to luxuriate in this physical life. And you're like, I've gone beyond this. I've gone beyond the material realm. What do you mean you want me to learn about the material realm? It doesn't make sense. And yet one of the gifts that you're bringing is embodiment. So one of the big lessons you're bringing through is embodiment. It's bringing through physicalization, materiality, abundance, money, like big money, I'm hearing, material wealth.
Wow. That's crazy because when you asked what I wanted to draw, the most important thing for me was health and healing, and it was life purpose, not material or money. It's like
Right.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to go there. I just have other things that are so more urgent for me.
Right. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
unbelievable.
Exactly. And I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. The physical reality is like, why? I mean, I know I'm eternal. I know I'm spirit. I know I am one with creation. Why is this important? And what I'm hearing, what my guides are saying is that because there are so many gifted souls coming in who have similar levels of mastery, who have no clue how to handle physical reality. And you're a teacher. And so there's a whole wave of these very spiritually advanced beings who have no clue how to function in material reality. And so you have a gift for them that needs to be given, which is how it's almost like being a channel for all of these enlightened beings around how to ground themselves. Like you have a gift with this. Like that's just what's coming through. Like you have a gift with how to communicate to people, how to get grounded. Like you'll be able to take spiritual knowledge and earth it, make it material, because there are so many who don't know how to be on this planet. They're very advanced. They're very evolved. And there's lots of these souls coming through. I mean, you see a baby these days and you go, oh my gosh, like there's another enlightened master here on the planet to heal this earth. So it's not that you have to focus on money. It's not that you have to focus on wealth. But what I am seeing is focusing on every day, taking 5 minutes out in nature to bond with the earth. And you might already do this, but to really value that time as part of your spiritual path, right? And hugging those trees and enjoying an apple, like that sultry, delicious, physical, embodied bliss is one of the things you're really learning about. And is something you could make a really lot of money teaching and sharing.
Wow.
So that's what's coming through about that. It's beautiful. Yeah. So, what about teaching a workshop for women around body care or self-care around, like beautiful facials, like fruit facials or self-massage, right? How to bring together beauty and nature and grounding with your life work to make money, but to make money because you're here to help others, not because you need it or want it or care, but as a way to show them that it is possible to be love and light and abundance. This is a big one. This is a big one for a lot of souls. And it's coming up in the collective. I'll explain more with the millionaire planet being exactly conjunct your millionaire planet this year.
Wow. And that's the name of the course,
Yes.
which I randomly found.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
Randomly. Yeah. Yeah, this happens every time I lead a course. People show up with the exact vibration of what we're working on in their charts.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's
It's
like you put it out and I captured it at
right,
that
magnet.
exact moment in my
Yes,
feed. I find it's fascinating.
isn't it? It's amazing.
That's fascinating.
Yes, magical, 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 magical. Yes, Minda, there is a replay. I'm so glad you could join us tonight. And tomorrow we're just going to keep going with the wealth, and it's the new moon, so we'll do an activation as well to call in more abundance, whatever that might mean, as well as check out, oh, this new moon is in your second house, so conjunct your Jupiter, the millionaire planet. So I want to invite you tonight to think about, what would you do with wealth? What would you create? And play with it as like a fun thing, not like a heavy, I have to do this or I'm supposed to do this, but rather a very beautiful invitation of, if I had it, what would I do? What would I play with? What would I create? How could that be of service? Right. And you have so many planets in the house of service over here, including your Mars, which is action. You care about service, you care about helping the planet. And so see that as what you're doing as opposed to any other reason, because that's not what motivates you. Right? We're all motivated by sort of different things. And so the chart can show us how to motivate ourselves for achieving that which is in alignment with who and what we are. Yeah. Fantastic. Bravo. I'm so proud of you.
Fascinating. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes,
Thank
you're welcome. Yeah. Oh, I get chills and goosebumps every time I work with someone. So thank you. I'm honored. Honored. Okay.
I had the same.
Right. Yeah. So cool. Okay. Patrice, are you ready? See? There you are.
Sure.
Awesome. 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 Well, welcome. Where were you born?
I was born in a small town called Waynesboro, Virginia.
All right. You got a good accent. Oh my God.
Yes.
I love it.
Some people think I'm from Georgia, but I'm not.
That's fantastic. Well, welcome on board. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at how many planets you have above versus how many planets you have below. This is pretty interesting, isn't it? Just this one step.
Yes. I pulled my sidereal, just a free chart. I was just looking at it. It's completely different from my tropical. And I'm like, no wonder I didn't resonate with it. And it's like you're being forced into something that you know that, like, no, what? And I just been on this wheel of like, I gotta find out why am I feeling like this with my birth chart? Like, what's happening? And why is there so many different systems, and which one, not saying which one is the correct one for me? Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so Sidereal just popped up. You came through to YouTube, and I said, oh, okay, let's do this. See what
Awesome.
happens.
Well, I got to tell you, growing up with my mama, talking about this to people and seeing what she said to them and what they said, and then being like, I think she's right, because I knew about it, and I was like, she's right every time, and I was like, wow, that's weird. So I've been so happy to share this, right? And that's what I'm passionate about, is because we want to know ourselves, and it's like it should match, right? The
Yeah.
system should match how we feel. And if it doesn't, it's like, why not? Why is this not working? So that's beautiful share. So let's dive into this. So are you used to being a Virgo sun sign or a Sagittarius? I think Sagittarius, right?
Sagittarius sons. Uh-huh.
All right. Are you ready for some things to shift up a little bit here?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm always new. I always want to do something new anyway.
I bet. Yep. So first we're gonna slow down. I'm excited too. We're gonna slow down and we're gonna just count how many you have up top and how many bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So a lot up top. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a lot more, well, not a lot more, but a decent more up top, including your sun sign. So that tells me you have a purpose, right? You have a purpose. Well, everyone has a purpose. But when you have sun above, okay, it's a very external purpose. Like there is something, there's a community, there's a group that you're here to serve externally than just being at home. Like you're not going to be happy just living a life at home in your community, hometown. Like you want to expand. It's expansive energy. So your sun actually changes signs. Drum roll. I need to get a drum roll. Changes signs and goes back into Scorpio. Goes back into Scorpio, which is depth, intensity. It is power. It is volcanic force. And if you don't express yourself, there may be explosions. If things do not go exactly right, they are going to know about it because Scorpio is power. And there are 3 levels to Scorpio, okay? The most unrefined, worst case scenario with Scorpio is the scorpion. And it scuttles around the ground and it will sting you if you get the in its way, right? It will sting you if you get on its bad side. Now, it can be jealous, it can be possessive, it can be like intense, right? Scorpio is intense. It is life, sex, death, rebirth. It is the shamanic energy. However, as the Scorpio expands and grows into its highest expression, it becomes the eagle. And it can see the big picture. And it can see, how can I put my power to the use of the upliftment of others? How can I serve others to rise up into their highest? And that's that great shamanic teacher who guides people through the sweat lodge or the spiritual, the soul journey, right? What's it called? You spend all night out the vision quest, right? That is the energy of Scorpio, being able to lead others out of the ensnarement of the material world into the energy of the soul. Scorpio sees through the illusion and it sees through people. Scorpio.
I call it BS.
Yes, that's right. You see through the BS. Like you don't have any issue calling it like you see it. Right? Scorpio is just to the point. You know, you're not going to put up with shenanigans. It's like, I see you, I see this, like, just don't even bother. Don't even bother. And you also have Mercury very close to the sun in Ophiuchus, which is the 13th sign, which tells me that you also probably have a decent amount of ancient, secret, spiritual energy training in your consciousness from, if you believe in past lives, which means that you're drawn to things that are secret, you're drawn to things that are hidden, you are drawn to things that are the occult, right? Things that unlock information. You're like, I know there is more and I will find it. You cannot keep me hidden. I will find it, because Ophiuchus loves to dig and find the truth. It is the truth. Okay, it is the truth. You already know the truth. So if something doesn't match it, you're going to find it. You're going to, like you found me, like you found this information. Ophiuchus will find the truth because it's already been trained in it. Do you see? So you already have the information. You're just like, does this line up with what I already know? That's kind of the gauge that you already have. And Mercury is the mind. So you may have a certain power or ability with your speaking. And it's in the 12th house, which is the house of the womb, the spiritual, it's the divine ocean. Whew. So you might be able to access like other states of consciousness through your communication. You might be able to lead people through your words into very deep places. You know, lead them on journeys. Guide them. You also might find that sometimes your own thoughts stay hidden from you because they're so deep. And you're like, okay, got to get the barrel in the bucket and go down there and see what's happening. Because this is also the house of the subconscious. So things like shamanism, things like hypnosis, become avenues for you where you have talent. It's the Piscean house. So Pisces is water, it's intuition, it's flow, it's feminine energy. So you may communicate on more than just mental, logical levels very well. And so finding the right people that you can commune with may have been a challenge for you, because you may be able to communicate and express yourself at levels that other people just don't naturally have the capacity to do. And I laugh, but I laugh because I've been through this myself. So I laugh because I know.
No, I've been going through this all my life. Like, it's like,
where are my people?
Yeah, well, I take a Pilates class, and I met this older lady. She's 68. She's Scorpio, well, tropical storm. So I don't know what she is now, but she invited me to a brunch, and we went to have brunch. And this was our second time going, and I said, okay, I'll pay this time. And she was like, no, look at all this cash I have. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do, then you go right ahead. And she said, I love your company. I like what you have to say, and I need to hear more. And we talked for about an hour and a half, got up. She said, did you give me this $20? And I said, no. And I said, why would I give you $20? You said you were going to pay for it, right? And she said, oh, okay. She put it to the side and she paid for the meal. And then she gave me the $20. And then I said to myself, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I don't know. It just came out of nowhere. And then my son called me. He said, Mom, I need some art supplies. And I said, oh, okay, I'll buy it. I had the $20, so paid for it. So that little bit that I knew, and just in conversation, I mean, that's where my wealth came from, my riches. And I was like, oh, well, wouldn't this be cool if I could just go out with women and, have conversation instead of having I like Zoom, but I like to be in front of you, really so I can really get into the depths of things. But
that's right. You want to get into the depths. That's right. That's right. And Mercury is a PowerPoint for you, right? Sun 6 degrees away from Mercury, you shine as a communicator. So, and 11th house is the world. And oh gosh, you said women. You've got Venus and Neptune in Libra, which is a feminine, it's kind of an interesting balance between feminine and masculine, but you've got Venus there. So Venus, Neptune, and the sun, all very close together. You have a spiritual way with women. Isn't that interesting? Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So your communication is deep and powerful, but you have this kind of spiritual fortune. Venus is the billionaire planet with Neptune, which is higher spiritual work. So whatever your work is, it is receiving money through your spiritual connection to your community. So I think you were actually setting a seed for something you're going to create, which is working with community, women probably, and as some type of spiritual fashion. Maybe just your presence is spiritual, right? You might be able to assist them to connect to something in them by listening and speaking that you may not realize how powerful it is.
I speak a lot about patterns, breaking patterns.
There you go.
All the time. Stop doing the same thing. If you want to create something new, do something different. You can't it's not possible.
That's right. That's right. Well, you've got your midheaven in Virgo, which is about analysis and details. So you have a very strong awareness of details and of patterns, and a reality check. You have a strong reality check energy. And you've got Mars in the planet of money. So that's leadership, and Capricorn is old age. And so it could be working with older folks. You make money. It's just or wise, people who are wise. right? Capricorn is age. You also have Aquarius, which is the new age. So it could be both older and then younger people. Aquarius can be kind of new agey alternative folk, like online and that sort of thing. Yeah, but you definitely have a big purpose. I mean, look at all these planets up above in your 11th, 10th, and 9th houses. That's
That's a
all
lot.
external. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So, you also, your destiny point is down here in the 3rd house, which is communication. So communication is a really big lesson for what you're learning in this lifetime. And it's in the house of the community. It's the house of your friend, your neighborhood. So those people that you go to work with, you go to school with, you go to the store with, that's the people who really need to hear from you. Aquarius is the new age. So you're bringing them new age information to assist them. It's very mental, it's very cerebral, it's logical, it's rational. So you're bringing that to those you work with. And it's part of your lesson in destiny is bringing that awareness out to your community. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, huh?
Yes.
What
It
time
does.
is it? What time is it in Canada?
11.
11. It's bedtime. Well, we're
It's
almost.
a few minutes to 11. I usually go to bed around 9:30, so this is a
Oh my
work.
goodness, you're
My
up
eyes are
late.
burning.
You're up late.
Me too.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank
Is
you for.
everyone on Eastern time?
I
Oh,
Here
it's
it's
11
also
here.
11.
It's 11 here.
11 at
Yeah,
night.
Scorpios like the nightlife.
Yeah.
A sun sign in Aries, I think, likes the sunshine. I'm early bird, but
Well,
can we start an hour earlier maybe tomorrow if we're all on Eastern? Is it good for you?
I'm actually on the West Coast. So
Okay.
tomorrow, I think there may be a lot more people joining us. So I want to stick to the same time, but
Okay.
depending on how everyone feels, we can tune into that. But
Okay.
really love and appreciate your presence and look
I
forward to
appreciate
seeing
all of you. Thank you so
you
much.
tomorrow. You're welcome. Have a great night.
Have a good night. I'll see you girls tomorrow.
Night.
Good night. Good night.
Woo! Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So yes, we have a lot to cover. I will tell you that this new moon that we're going to be having tomorrow is going to be it's going to be in your 5th house of romance and fun and children. So it's a good time to go on a date. It's a good time to play with your children. It's a good time to think about what do I want to do to bring more love, joy, and abundance into my life, right? It's more fun. Time for more fun for you. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Time to set that.
Finally,
Yeah.
I've been going through a lot of changes since 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finally coming to the end of whatever all of that is like. It's gone. My mother died a couple years ago. I was taking care of her. And it just seems like everybody around me just disappeared after she left. So I'm basically literally starting new. Building new foundations. Yep. New foundations, belief system, like all the old system, all that old stuff is just, I'm done.
That's
I'm
right.
at the done point.
That's right. That's right. Sing it, sister. I mean, that is what we're going through in the collective. I mean, Pluto this year is in Capricorn and it's retrograde. Pluto is, the god of the underworld. Capricorn is structure. So we're just phasing out old structures. We're starting new. It's a big journey. But you're not.
I did notice this that because in tropical says that we're in Aquarius and then we're going back in Capricorn, but it still feels like it still felt like Capricorn to me. And I'm like, something is not right. What is going on? What?
Right.
So yeah, I understand now. True sidereal. I got it.
And it's in your 1st house right now, and it's been there for a while. And it went through your 1st house here, Sagittarius, and that could be when your mama passed. Right? And so you've been dealing with this whole death rebirth cycle. And I tell you, when these planets move through our houses, they have so much effect on people. It's so helpful to know that it's happening. That's one reason I teach astrology, so that y'all can learn how to do this, so that you can keep track of where the planets are and where they're affecting you when. I actually, yeah, so Pluto is in your first house right now. It just went retrograde, and it's going to be moving back into Sagittarius up close to your ascendant. So that could be part of this restructuring of yourself, right? Where just everything ended, who you are, your identity, what you look like, what you dress like is like, dang.
Oh, I know. See my gray hair there? Look.
Yeah, right, right. So you've been getting to know Pluto, and the good news is that he's clearing out your foundation of who you are so that you can be more you. So that what's going to come through now is just going to be the essentials, right? It's peeling off all the non-essential stuff that wasn't you, that didn't serve you, that wasn't yours, so that you can open up to your true potential, who you really are and who you're really here to be, right? So you're doing a great job. I'm glad you're here. This is a good place to sort of start fresh.
Thank
And
you, Lotus. Yes, I'm
yeah,
enjoying this. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot of information, but I'll get it.
Yep. And it's being recorded, it's being broadcast, so y'all can just go and watch it whenever you want to. And I feel like I've entered the new age tonight, being able to share these events live across the planet, because I think I really jive with free information. I really jive with our ability to share knowledge across the planet with each other. I think that's brilliant.
Called
That's
energy philanthropy.
yes, energy philosophy. That's a good
Yeah.
that's a good one. Where we also receive abundance and wealth and prosperity. There's a free flow of sharing and receiving, so that we can maintain and support our structures, right? Our bodies, our minds, our food intake, it's creating that balanced ecosystem,
Yes.
really, for all. I think that's the vision, at least that I have. But awesome, Patrice. So we will get ready for day 2, where we're going to look at where your millionaire planet is, where your billionaire planet is, and a little deeper dive into how this sun, moon, new moon is going, what energy. I mean, you have tonight to think about how it's going to be in your 5th house. So that's powerful. And it's interesting, you have a lot of Taurus in the 5th house. So wherever you have Taurus in the chart is somewhere that you might be able to make money. It's a money-making energy, right? And so it's the house of romance, it's the house of children, creativity.
It's interesting because my ex-husband is a Taurus, but in tropical. I don't like I'm getting confused anyway. I'm looking at the tropical now, but the guy that I'm seeing now, he's also a Taurus, which
Oh
is
yeah.
probably not. Yeah. And they're a day apart.
Oh, interesting.
Like, and they're like totally opposite. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that that this is happening in my
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Love on the horizon with this new moon. There might be some kind of seed of love expansion for you, which is romantic to say the least. All right, my beautiful friend.
Thank
So
you. Thank you so
Anna,
much.
let's get your chart read, and we'll get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be about money and wealth and abundance, and how the chart can reveal that information. Oh dear, Anna, I think I need to create your chart.
If you want, since it's late, if you want, you can read mine tomorrow. If it's not, yeah.
Well, I don't want
to. I sent you my birth date, but I don't know.
I
Do you want me to
think
give it to you?
I have it. It just was the one that I missed. So please forgive me.
No, don't worry.
And tomorrow we'll break it out as we tap into this.
Yeah, you can. That way, I know what we're gonna do, how to relate it, like the chart with tomorrow's.
Yeah, I will send you your chart tonight.
Okay.
So
yeah, to the email?
Yeah, I will send it to you. I'm going to send all your charts that were here live, so you can like look at it and get any questions together. And this is powerful. Whenever I lead new moon events, you know, when we come together, we activate energy. right? So we amplify each other. So whatever your intention is, really tune into that tonight, get into your heart. What is it you want to birth? What is it you want to bring through over the next 2 weeks to the full moon? Because you may well create it. I've had a lot of students who have manifested what it is they set their intention to at these classes. So just a shout out to you to set those intentions now so you'll be ready. And then tomorrow we'll meet at 5 p.m. as usual, and we'll tune in to see who comes and how timing is. If everyone wants to, we can push it back an hour earlier, totally fine. But I also want to keep it the same for those who need it to be later. So love and appreciate you all so
Thank
much.
you very much. Very,
Yes.
very
Yes, it
Thank
is so
you.
awesome. And thank you for being here and reaching out across the YouTube channel to me to get to come on live. It's such an honor to meet you all. I love this. I love this part of my
Yeah.
work. So thank
Yeah.
you for being
Thank
here.
you for sharing. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everyone. Much
Bye.
love.
Bye. Thank you.
Aloha. Bye, everyone. Good night.